Hello and welcome to the Money Marketing Podcast. I'm Kimberly Dondo, Digital Content Manager, and in this week's Weekend Essay podcast, Lois Vallely, Chief Reporter, examines whether we need more financial therapists. Take it away, Lois.
I got a brand new state-of-the-art coffee machine for Christmas. It's got all the bells and whistles. It can pretty much do anything a machine in a coffee shop can do. I love coffee, so I was very excited when the machine arrived. I bought specialty coffee beans from my favourite roastery in Brighton and an eye-wateringly expensive set of cappuccino cups. I even bought a dial-in milk jug and have made it my mission this year to learn latte art. Photos will be shared. The coffee machine is probably one of the best presents I've ever been given, but it's definitely helped feed my lockdown-induced coffee addiction. My daily coffee intake has pretty much doubled. Just writing this is making me want to get up and make a coffee, even though I know that if I do, I'll stay up half the night. The reason I tell you this is because it perfectly illustrates the fact that even though I know full well that drinking that amount of caffeine is not good for me, I still do it. In the same way, I'll choose to sit on the sofa and binge an entire series of Teen Wolf rather than go for a run. Sometimes, not always. Or I'll eat the entire sharing pack of Milky Bar buttons rather than just a handful, or none. I don't do any of this because I genuinely think the former options are better ones. In November, Simon Bussey, a good friend of money marketing, wrote us an opinion column arguing that people don't need more financial education. Most people know it is a good idea to, if they can, save regularly into a savings account with the best interest rate they can find. Not an easy task in today's climate. Most people know they should start accumulating a pension pot no later than age 30. Most people know that if they nip to the supermarket to buy a pint of milk, they shouldn't leave with £50 worth of shopping. But despite knowing what they should and shouldn't do, lots of people will not act on this knowledge. What we really need, then, is to understand the reasons behind people's decisions. I used to hate the taste of coffee. 15 years ago, I couldn't drink it. The point at which I really started to appreciate it was when I went to university. I was one of those typical English literature students who, despite having months to write a 2,000-word essay, would leave it all until a night or two before the deadline. This, in many cases, meant a couple of back-to-back all-nighters. There was a cafe in our university library which served a coffee called the Hammerhead, which was pretty much an Americano-sized espresso. I think the reasons for my love affair with coffee are pretty clear. Now they help me power through the working day. I do love my job, but lockdown made me idle and want to sleep more, so coffee helps me. The reason for my Netflix binge over a 5k run is also pretty obvious. Easy versus tiring. As for the Milky Bar buttons, well, they are just delicious, and they're only small. Our problem isn't lack of information, Simon argues in his article. Our problem is that we systematically mispredict the impact of information on people's actions. In other words, that we think that just because someone knows they should do something, they will do it. But, as demonstrated, this isn't actually the case. This is where psychology comes in. Quite a few conversations I've had with people recently have been about the soft skills that financial advisors need to be able to serve their clients better. Skills such as empathy and listening are becoming increasingly important as the pandemic has made people more tuned into how they feel. These sorts of skills can help advisors understand their clients' motivations for doing things better and therefore allow them to help them with their money. This is a concept I hadn't really considered before I joined money marketing. In a weekend essay she wrote earlier this month, features writer Amanda Newman-Smith said she knows some advisors who have taken formal qualifications in counselling because they've decided that it would allow them to better serve their clients. In her essay, she wrote, "Having seen the way the profession has evolved, especially in relation to the identification and fair treatment of clients in vulnerable circumstances, I can see this is a sensible move for some." But she argued that it should never be a prerequisite for becoming an advisor, because formalising it takes it a step too far into the territory of others. Opinions in this area differ in the industry. On the one hand, I've heard arguments to say advisors should not let conversations about financial well-being stray into areas they're not qualified to discuss. On the other hand, others say financial advice has to include an element of psychiatry or therapy. For example, Tina Weeks, director of Serenity Financial Planning, argues that financial planning done properly always has a psychotherapeutic element because done well, it's about changing minds. While researching for this weekend essay, I came across the Financial Therapy Association, a US-based organization set up in 2009 to promote the research and study of financial health and training. It made me think perhaps financial therapy is something we should be promoting more as a career in its own right.
Thank you, Lois, for another illuminating weekend essay. We hope that you enjoyed it. Please do keep up to date with all our new releases via Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts from. You can also keep up to date with all our new content published on the Money Marketing website, as well as our Twitter and LinkedIn. See you next time.